Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Comfy Org stream. I just realized we had the wrong thumbnail at the beginning. So
Yeah.
this is not about reinventing your pipeline. This is about Comfy MCP. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm here
I
with
was like,
Allison from our community team. She's our new head of community. I'm here with Matt Miller from our backend team. And I'm here with Jo, who's a project manager and all sorts of smarty pants over here at Comfy. Welcome, everyone. Please introduce yourselves.
We're introducing ourselves?
Yes, please do. Allison, welcome.
Oh my gosh, I can't do better than you just did for me. But hello, everybody. Allison here, new to the Comfy team, looking after community, and excited today to talk about all things MCP. I'm based in beautiful San Francisco, and I will pass it off to my friend Matt to introduce himself.
Thanks, Allison. I'm Matt, backend engineer at Comfy. I come here from all sorts of different technical experiences. So I was been an ethical hacker for years and have worked on many different sort of AI projects, masters in data science. But I think it's all kind of gelling together here at Comfy. And so it's been a lot of fun, just kind of building new products and getting Comfy into its next phase as a business. So excited to show what we've been working on.
Right on.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jo. I was on the last stream about MCP as well. I'm the product manager. I'm working on the agentic experience of Comfy. I'm very glad to work together with Matt on the MCP and also a lot more incoming products. And we have a lot of good news to share today. I'm also actually, we're all in the same office. I'm in the noodle room, and we're going to talk about noodle things today.
Get our noodle on. Right on. Well, Matt, take it away, man. What are we announcing today?
Okay, well, so first, before we get into anything else, we've been talking about MCP. We launched the Cloud MCP a couple weeks ago, and basically we've heard from everybody that they're curious about where the local MCP is and when it's going to come out. So I'm going to prove that we have something in the works. It's not quite ready yet, but here is a peek at. Oh, it showed up and then it disappeared. There we are.
There we go.
Local MCP GitHub repository where we are actively working to get this thing out as soon as possible. We're just going through some final testing phases, but we've heard everybody and we're definitely excited because I think this is, the cloud was a great first step for us, but I think, the community has been clamoring for something for the local experience for a while, even before we launched the Cloud MCP. And we were aware of that. And I think we're in a place where, we're excited to launch this and kind of get it going for everybody now outside of just the cloud community. So feast your eyes on it for another second, and then I'm going to make it disappear.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about what a game changer MCP has been for me personally, even as someone who, I make a lot of workflows. I do a lot of deep Comfy stuff in app, and honestly, I haven't used Comfy that much. Outside of making workflows, for work, I'm pretty much primarily using MCP as my way of interfacing with Comfy because. The thing I want people to understand really is the circular nature of MCP, the iterative conversational thing that it unlocks, where you go from having to know exactly what you want to do from A to B to being like, oh, I've got my thing and now I want to do something to that thing. And then that iterative conversational process, the jamming, that is a whole new unlock for creatives. And I'm really stoked to see what people do with that. So you no longer really have to know what your workflow is or how to execute the thing you want to do. You just have to know you want to do something. And the MCP is really good at sort of filling in the gaps. So yeah, I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
Let normies use Comfy again,
Yeah, I had a great experience last night using the MCP. I was just testing some things and I wanted to try to create an Instagram style reel or a TikTok. And Comfy is great. You can build the workflows, but when you add the agent intelligence on top of that, I was talking to my agent saying, hey, I want you to create it end to end, take some of these example videos. And it was using, it drew on FFmpeg to do video editing with the Comfy MCP to create the creative assets, not only images and background videos, but use the new Stable Audio 3 to create sound effects and create a bed of music. And so the agent being able to use all of its intelligence and all of like your local tools that you can install on your computer, and then layering Comfy in to create all of the other assets that it would be missing. I was able to basically just talk to it, and it, it took a few iterations, but it was my video editor last night, and it created like rich moving backgrounds, things with like, transitions and swoosh sound effects and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I will say I am the least technical person on this call, and I definitely have the least amount of firsthand Comfy experience. So the MCP for me has like made just learning the product so much easier, right? Like at being able to jump between speaking in natural language, but also getting to see all of my noodles when I want to go under the hood and understand things has been a great way for me to just like learn the product and yeah, make something really cool much quicker than I would have in the past. So shout out MCP.
Awesome. Yeah, we're seeing that a lot. And I just want to go back to what Matt said about tool use and unlocking things in Comfy. Like one of the most basic examples is making grids of images, or taking a bunch of stuff you made and making a video out of it. To do that in Comfy, you really have to understand how to manipulate that grid. All the resolutions of your images have to match. You have to do the work to like build out this, workflow to do the thing. Whereas with the agent, I'm like, can you make me a grid of 8 images out of these images? And it uses Python image library or whatever you happen to have, or it can install easily on your computer. And it just unlocks all these integrations that go way beyond the node graph, go way beyond the thing, to where you're using Comfy for all of its strengths. And then you're just offloading your content into everything else that you already use, or stuff that you haven't even heard of. That's the other great thing. The agent can tell you, hey, there's a library for Python that does this thing you're trying to do, and it's really cool. You should try it. And you could say, all right, let's do it. And it unlocks all these new things that were kind of gate kept, and not so much purposefully, but gate kept behind the concept of you got to learn how to program to be able to do things like that. I'm super.
Yeah, I mean, case in point, I can show the I did a little presentation in New York last week, and I'll go through some of the slides. But before I show some of the slides, to your point, creating a slideshow, this entire slideshow that I made for this presentation, I did at the NYC AI Creative Summit, which was like a great event there in New York, formerly the Comfy meetup. And I used the Comfy brand guidelines and had it create the slides for me. And so I had the MCP create the slides to teach people about how to use the MCP. So I don't know, snake eating its own tail or something.
Oh, it's amazing. Did you want to show that now?
Yeah. Let me pull that up. Yeah, cool. So this, I'm just going to go through a few of the slides. We won't go through the whole thing, but just as a quick primer for those who have not used the MCP yet, just wanted to show some of like the simple capabilities and then how far it can go. So here, it's pretty simple. Text to image. That's the prompt that was basically used with Claude, and it created this whole background image, text to image. Pretty straightforward. You can then take that and chain it. So you can take the output from the last prompt and make it the input for the next prompt. So the agent has memory, so it remembers what it just did. And so you literally don't have to say, hey, use this image. Just say now make it this. And so it did that, and it edited image to image, went from a flux to a nano banana model. And then finally you can make it move. And so animated it used Cdance. And so from my brain with an idea to an image to an image to image to an image to video took literally a few prompts in Claude.
And you have yet to open Comfy.
I've had Claude code open on my terminal. That's it. And what's cool for me is I use it almost daily in work, like not even with like creative work, but my day-to-day work. And so what I've learned is, the world of MCPs, the MCP universe, the real power comes when you start to connect all of these tools together. So like Pers was saying, with like the tools that Claude can access, or any of these agents can access, just the programs on your computer is one thing. The other side of that is all of the other MCPs that exist, since, all these systems, basically all the major softwares have MCPs now, you can chain them together. So this is an example I used of saying, I have Notion, which we use for documentation internally. And so documenting the pipeline architecture in actually creating this slide and create a Notion document out of it. And then take that Notion doc and create a visualization for the non-technical people, which is what's in the background behind the text there. And then add that image back onto the Notion doc. And then I can share that doc throughout the team. So using Comfy as this tool to create creative assets, not just for VFX, but for anywhere that you're going to use visuals. Some other ideas that I've used in the past are here, but I mean, it's endless. The possibilities are endless of like how you could use this anywhere you need, I don't know, audio generation or image generation or video generation. You can basically hook it up to all the tools that are out there in the world now. So yeah.
And you also vibe coded this presentation software, right?
The presentation actually just came from Claude. Oh, so
yeah, but I mean, like the whole, like the little website it made and stuff to even present these slides.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Vibe coded itself, right?
I literally for this, it was I had to do it. Then I opened it up and like looked at the slides and said, hey, just can you change this, this, and this, and it did it. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. Ryclone asked, how is this different than using the skills that PERS made for open code? That's what I've been doing for the past month or so. Well, Matt can explain this better, but MCP has much tighter integration with our actual system than whatever I could manage to hack together in a skills.md file. Like we've actually built hook. Well, I'll let Matt explain it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there's a few things about that. Well, number one, especially for the cloud, there's things like our billing and integration with our billing systems and things like that we have access to that aren't really open sourced or can't really be accessed by people that aren't under the hood there. But to Percy's point as well, there's there's a Comfy skills repository that we have that is actually open source. So I think it's a good time to mention that is there's skills package with our MCP. So the MCP, any MCP really, is only as good as its context and how it knows to use it. Now we're directing these agents like under the hood with our MCP, but we also have this like open source Comfy skills repository that we would love the community to participate with, because it's stuff like the stuff that PERS has built, or any of you that are watching I'm sure there's a lot of great like skills and things that are out there. And we really want the community to source that and help us figure out, the optimal path for the agents to take when doing these things. It's sometimes hard to wrangle these agents into the right direction. So for example, if I said, create an image of me with JFK or something like that. I mean, we have so many models for image generation or all this kind of, it's like, it's going to pick the path that it just thinks. It doesn't really know, right? I don't know if this is answering the question, but it's sort of tangential to it in the sense that like, I think what PERS build is great. And I think what everybody else is building is great. And we're just trying to find ways to integrate it in kind of with our tools now internally,
Yeah. Comfy has always benefited from everyone building together and sharing their knowledge. So, this, we need your help to figure out the best practices for all these models. Like you guys do so much research, like as a community, you guys do so much research. It's actually crazy. We got Banadoko, we got our Discord, we got a bunch of places where everyone's just pooling their knowledge constantly. So this is just an extension of that, really.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I realized we forgot to play the promo video at the beginning of the stream. So maybe we should show everybody, the cool video about what MCP is. So let me load that up, everyone. Let's have a look at that. Okay, everyone, this is a demo video of what's possible with Comfy MCP. Ready? Let's go. Boodly boop. shout out to our creatives for smashing these videos. I'm loving all the videos they've been making lately. All right. You ready to go, Jo?
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. So
Right on. Welcome to the stream.
So yeah, I've been actually just putting together some assets like right when Matt's doing the presentation and sharing. So the video we just showed was about the batch generation experience that we put together. And great shout out to Matt. Like in the first week after the initial launch, like I think there were like actually two major questions for the product team. One is, does that work with local, and when can we have that experience in local? And obviously you just saw Matt share the latest progress, and we're really trying hard to get that out to all of our users, so it's a very integrated experience of the Comfy MCP. And the other big questions we got is like, we actually got some very crazy user in the first week who did like thousands of generations in 1 or 2 days. And I was like really blown away. And they were like, this thing is too slow for my level of creation. And because in the initial version, you literally have to do like sending the workflow and generation and get the assets back like one by one. So it's taken a lot of time for the creatives to wait for Claude to get the assets. And so like a few days after that, Matt also helped integrated the feature of batch generation, and also just getting outputs and to check the workflow status in batches. So it actually accelerated the experience a lot for the large studios. So this is something we kind of want to share with the community today. And also, we've been talking to a lot of studio users in the past few weeks and try to understand like how they're using it in production. And we do have some very interesting findings. So I think today we'd like to, I personally have some demo that I can share on how I've been working with Claude on like, larger creative projects. And I also was like learning lively from the community on what is their best practice. Yeah, so if you don't mind, I can share my screen and
Yeah, please do.
walk you through example project that I've been working on. It's very risky because it's just halfly done. So I wonder maybe we can finish it in the stream today. Let me just share the entire screen. So this is my usual, like normal setup with Claude. I usually use Claude Code in Terminal, but for easier asset preview in the stream, I chose to use the Claude Desktop today, and I can walk you through some of the idea of this project. Can you see my screen clearly?
Yeah, it's good. I'm going to zoom in even more so it's even bigger.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, as a product team, we will always like recommend the Claude Code for everything related to creative tasks, just because most of the projects that people work on involves a lot of assets, and whatever MCP you use, I think like between Claude Chat and Claude Code, Code is always more flexible in terms of network environment, so it's easier to get assets, and also easier to get access to your local folders and disks, etc. So like it can do more things for you basically, or otherwise you run into problems just downloading the file back. So when I work with Claude, I think biggest advantage is that it takes away a lot of work of the planning and the ideation. So I don't have to kind of like construct the workflow structure and also do this analysis of the creative, the analysis of the brief myself. So this is a good part. So every time I always start with the reference. Let me see if I can share the reference here. So yeah, I was exploring this creative idea where I want to create a list of brand ads for, let's say, Comfy merch. So we have the Comfy brand guideline. We have like a set of character, and my idea is that I kind of want to create something like a receipt. So it's like we have the variation of receipts of buying Comfy merches, and we have the actually like a model or a character try on the merches like in the ads itself. So I start with the reference project and the reference video, something like these. And then I briefly describe my idea to Claude and start to do a lot of analysis and like looking for resource online and planning. And then first of all, it gives me a very detailed execution plan. This is good because this project later on, I realized it actually involves like hundreds of assets and like so many nuance and so many branches in between. So this part is really helpful for Claude to actually understand like what's going on. And you can see there's so many things in there, and where the batch generation stuff actually helps a lot. So we start with the creation of the character sheet, and that part was pretty much simple. I'll just skip. And the second part was about actually designing the framework or the general look of the receipt idea that I want. You can see I created the whole thing in Claude. I barely went into Comfy myself, unless I think I want to actually verify the workflow myself. I didn't really need to go to Comfy at all. So I was asking it to generate some assets based on my idea and experiment a lot of color variations. So it was the initial ones. I figured it's kind of ugly, so I'm like, bro, you gotta have some taste. And then we need a little bit more, minimalism and like a lighter like text intensity, and also variations of layout. It's like actually pretty interesting because I never felt more in the craft phase than I actually used Comfy before, because I didn't have to spend time to actually iterate the workflow. I just keep reviewing the asset in large batches and also give feedback. It's pretty intuitive. And the good part about using Claude Desktop is it just brings the asset preview into the chat. So it's also pretty, if you don't have a good idea about your local directories and asset folders, it's easier for a lot of creatives. And yeah, we did a ton of like variations and experiments about colors and very detailed layout. And like later I figured I kind of like one of those, and then I started to okay, now I want like 5 variations of the products. And so it's actually pretty cute because I said you kind of need some insider jokes or like make some relevant like text like Easter egg for your generation. So it's like each of the generation in there has like a one like tagline or something that is related to the merch itself, but it's also somewhat like insider joke about Comfy itself. Like the thermos, it says "Keep your Laden warm," which is pretty interesting. And yeah, these ones are pretty great. And for this, we had a little friction actually in the middle where it tries to just generate from text every time. But then obviously we know it's not going to maintain the same layout all the time. So I kind of need to tweak it a little bit and say, okay, just don't start with text all the time and try to do editing models once we have the layout fixed. And then after that, we're trying to actually land on the merge and try to put things onto like one model. Like everything in here is also just we just jammed in the chat itself. I gave it the brand color and everything in the middle, and it's like asking it to imagine what it will look like if we kind of stack all these products together onto one person. And it gives, and also we kind of need to design the outfit and figure out what is the desired outfit or fashion style for the character. It was kind of, well, I think one part we don't want Claude to do is it definitely doesn't have very good taste. It's like, well, mediocre, I would say. It's already after I gave it like references. I actually gave it a ton of reference of the outfit that I want, and I end up actually having to point to very, very specific ones to get some acceptable result. So yeah, I think all the creatives, we still have a lot of potential in this world. Like the AIs are like at this point still quite poor in terms of taste.
But that's good. That's the fun part of creation.
Yeah.
That's the part we want to be doing, right?
Yeah, I almost think like whether I should just try to manually do the styling. It's still like not as perfect, even the ones I pick from it, but it's like a demo project. So I'm like running out of time. I kind of just have to pick one. But there's like still a lot of improvements and variations I can do. If I'm on like a real production project, I would probably do like way more variation in this step. And it's really good because I just kind of dump all these things and point it to, something that I like, something I don't like about all these references, and then ask it to vibe all these variations. And I'm kind of like I was like feeling like a boss or like real creative director in a fashion brand, like reviewing all these ideas. It feels great. Yeah, and I end up like choosing one of those, and I'm like, now let's stack all the merch together on this one person. And my idea is that, so you can see like all these stuff are it's like checked with the receipt itself, and my idea is to actually have it end up being a video, so everything kind of, we can see the process of it stacking together on this one character. And it's like a shopping experience with the Comfy merch store. So let's try, actually, because it's half finished, it's not fully finished, so let's just try here. Now that you have receipt images / ads, I want to animate, make a video.
One of my favorite things about using agents is not having to fix typos anymore.
Yeah, I don't care.
You just hammer a bunch of nonsense at the bot.
But now like
nails
it's like creeped into my daily like texts and stuff. I'm like not fixing anything anymore.
Yeah. Did you forget how to type? Like, yeah, kinda.
And then,
man, one thing Jo said that I really connected with was, I feel like a boss.
Yeah.
You are in your creative director era. I think that's the cool thing about this. Like, you're right. Claude doesn't always have the taste, and it's not always going to come out with the best result. But you, the human layer, will make it so. I think I'm going to drop a cat merch line now after this. I'm feeling inspired.
yeah, I really, really like the we actually do have most of these merch in planning. Like we have the tote, like all the comfy stuff. So that's really great.
Gotta make the kitten mittens a reality.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I really, really want to do the ad right now, but I'm not going to, just because no one knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I would just come off like an insane person. Shout out to all the Kitten Mitten fans
Yeah.
Is your cat making too much noise all the time?
all the time.
Okay. Anyway, UI. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of typing, so
It's funny how that happens. Sometimes you get halfway through a prompt, you're like, you know what? Surprise me. Make it good. Don't do it bad.
yeah. Personally, like if I want to be, because I sometimes have an idea and really want to be very, very deterministic, and I will have long ass prompts, and now I'm just like don't want to expose how slow I type, so I'll go for it. Yeah, you can see it's like a really cool. It already have a lot of knowledge baked in the model itself, and also probably based on my experience with it before. The planning right now at this point, the planning is usually pretty much at like on point, and also it knows some of the basic techniques. Okay, it's thinking about clean or reveal the tricky part. I kind of wanted to just go with, see that, like, let's be generous to the audience here. So
Yeah, just use the good one.
yeah, normally I will like experiment with the indeed some cheap ones and open source ones first, because even this board is already the selected assets. There are so many failure ones in between, and it does cost a lot of money if I want to be very, very specific about the design and stuff. But yeah, for right now, let's just go for it. I think it might run into issues with the character reference stuff, but let's see. Yeah. Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah. I don't know if we got any questions, so we can answer while we wait for it. But
Yeah, first question is, how is
Oh.
Claude seeing all the images in your Figma screen? Do you just ask it to do it, or does it see it automatically?
Yeah, the Figma screen is just only made for the audience for live stream. Like usually, I like to keep everything in. Let me see if I can try to. Yeah. So the best way to work with Claude, I think, is just to keep everything in the local directory. So it's like I always have a dedicated folder for my agent work, and you can probably see it's JoJo agent. And every time I start a project, my Claude knows to create all the directories for it, and I put all the reference assets, like the beginning part. Where is the Figma? Yeah, I always pull all the reference assets into the folder first, and I ask Claude to kind of read them and rename them as the right reference images. And then everything generated in between or during the process, it will kind of save into the directory. So in a way, it kind of reference to it is you can either give it the file path, the path name, or because it already renamed everything in the process, you can always just point to one of the assets you used before with natural language. Most of the time it gets it right. If it doesn't, you can just be more specific. Yeah, it's definitely much faster. I don't particularly want to use Figma together with Claude, because it's just like one more like additional latency to pull things from cloud services.
That makes sense. Someone asked, can we use other IDEs? They use anti-gravity. Is it possible to use Comfy MCP with anti-gravity?
Actually, I haven't tried anti-gravity, but I think as long as it's a coding agent, you should be able to connect to it with at least the API keys.
Yeah, one thing I'll mention is that that was one of the initial struggles. Is like MCP is a standard, but every agent has its own quirks to actually kind of understand how to do this. So like even Codex, Cursor, Claude, we've had to like test on each of them individually, just because it should be simple, but they all kind of they don't all follow the same exact sort of process. So I'll look at Antigravity today. I have it installed. I've used it a bit, but
Yeah.
I'll see where we're at with it.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned it today. We're also like very actively adding integrations with all the agent platforms. So it's like more support for OAuth, like directly, like redirect you to login or SSO instead of always having to set up API keys. So Matt and like we actually just added integration with OpenClaw yesterday, and we're likely gonna have it for Hermes and other stuff maybe today or tomorrow. And we're like actively looking working with other agent platforms as well. If there's anything you think we should support, please let us know.
Right on. There's actually one more question from Exordinary. Are there any initiatives around trusted content to help Claude create workflows more accurately, or does it just search the web blindly? So how does the MCP find the workflows that it's looking for?
So Matt can later probably explain it in a more technical way, but generally the MCP would kind of expose the inventory or the catalog of the available nodes, available template workflows, and like available models currently in Comfy Cloud. So one, it has the full catalog of everything, and then for which one to choose and what is the best practice of each use case, this is actually like our in-house creative team did a lot of work to manually add the descriptions for the models and the template workflows. Be like, okay, this one is the state of the art but expensive. The other one is like cheaper and faster, but maybe less impressive. And some of them are outdated, so please don't choose them. So we add things like that to help the agent to make decisions when it comes to a certain use cases.
Yeah,
Um,
the oh, good.
No, go ahead, please, Matt.
I was just going to follow up on that. You know, we bundle in a lot of knowledge into the MCP itself. So the template, the whole docket of templates and nodes. So that is a big part of, we're trying to make it so it doesn't have to, you know, the more you let Claude go and search and get more stuff, the more chance it has to actually fail at its job. So we're trying to
Yeah.
the direct information that we wanted to know. So there is a bunch of that information actually bundled in when you make a call to the MCP. But to Joe's point, there is still a lot of like subjective decisions that have to be made. And so I think it's, you know, important that we continue always tweak that, because there's always going to be new models coming out. There's always going to be new nodes. And I think that, again, I go back to this, it's called Comfy-Skills. It's a repository that we have that's open source on our ComfyUI open source, is the skills. So, you know, that helps us direct it in the right direction to understand all of this information that it has. And so it's something that we continually are going to need to like tune and tweak as we go.
Well,
Yeah.
that leads into the next part of that question, which is, I'd love to know, are there actual workflows being built in the background that you can jump into, or is this all like ephemeral?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, that's like one of the big part that I shared in my LinkedIn yesterday about the difference between Comfy MCP versus others. Like, yes, everything has a workflow underneath. And if you want to, you can always go back to Comfy Cloud and retrieve the workflow, and like, you know, you can audit it, fact check it, and see like whether this thing is actually doing it like in a reasonable way. And sometimes if you just don't want, like, you kind of think it's faster for you to just add a workflow yourself, and it's totally valid that you can just go you know, see everything that has been generated in the in this class thread. Yeah, let me see, like all these exact the same assets were also here in Cloud. And what I need to do is just to let's say, for example, I want to see the workflow behind this generation. I just drag it back onto the canvas, and it's supposed to kind of retrieve the workflow for me. For example, I actually did audit the workflow sometimes in this project as well, because I figured that there's like some amount of artifacts when the editing goes further and further. So I was like trying to see how it was handling the editing process, and obviously the like Claude at the beginning didn't know that if you keep editing like series too long, it actually has it actually just degrades the image quality. So it always like keep the editing series going. In that case, I actually like later add another prompt to be like, so like you can search online, and this way, if you do it this way, it's gonna add more artifacts to the outputs. So maybe you can try to improve it, and like always start with a clean base of reference images to the workflow, and actually like regenerated this part again.
And what's really cool to add to that, to answer the question too, is so it is creating workflows. You can use your own saved workflows, or you can it'll save workflows for you that you can pull up in your account later. But also, if you're using, for example, if you are generating an image, you literally just want, hey, just generate this thing for me. It'll use a partner node and just use Nano Banana or something like that and generate it. When you're looking at the asset in Cloud, you can right click on it, and there's the open workflow in new tab. It will open the workflow that the MCP used. I guess it didn't work there.
No, it's like a right click sometimes doesn't work if the way the metadata is handled. So drag and drop always works. So.
Yeah, so it looks. I'll fix that. I'm responsible for some of that stuff. But what's cool is I find it really interesting to see how the agent prompts, Nano Banana or creates the prompts, because when I'm asking it has to generate some sort of prompt. So I go back and I see kind of, oh, how did it do this? Like what did it tell Nano Banana to do to get this output? So I kind of almost use the MCP to generate a thing and then learn maybe an optimal way to prompt one of these partner nodes. Yeah.
Oh, it seems we got some video back, and Claude was like, yeah, it's done, but it has some problems. I mean, it's like self-correcting. Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I can see why. And then yeah, I'll just let it run for a while.
That's interesting. So it went, hey, there's some awful digital confetti in this clip. I'm gonna try it again.
Yeah, because I was like, I want the merge to be first like dropping from the sky, and then kind of like land on the character. And I think Cedance misunderstood the dropping part, so it's like random stuff dropping.
Yeah, that's really neat that it actually did a tech pass and went, actually, this isn't like,
oh
good.
yeah,
I'm gonna try again.
Yeah, so for the good thing about Claude is it's like I think it's baked in its harness, where it always try to verify the output for you before you hand it off. So it's like a very responsible employee in your team, and the thing that it actually does is it does understand all the visual assets in a semantic way. For example, it will kind of read the workflow, read the video and the image and be like, so this contains a human, and with these traits, and there's this object like doing this thing. So it's like understand it in a like semantic way, but it doesn't understand like whether it is good looking or has style or cliche or not. That part it doesn't know, but at least it will try to verify like whether this output is sort of correct in a way.
Oh yeah, it already says test 2 is looking much stronger. First frame establishes full body with receipt. Yeah, nice. It's this is new. It wasn't doing this even a month ago. It wasn't like looking at the outputs and giving you advice. It was sort of just being like, okay, it's in the folder, go look at it. So this must be like a 4.8 thing or something. It's really neat.
Maybe it's because of my working experience with it. because I did have it done a lot of like video analysis work for myself.
Cool.
And yeah, there's like a lot of cool things I did with it. Usually I just always get inspirations from social media. So I always start with downloading this video and try to analysis and try to give me the keyframes and let's analyze the color tone and everything. And then we start to build our own version. So I don't know, maybe it's my Claude, maybe it's everyone's Claude.
That's a really cool approach. Yeah, I'd like you should do a tutorial on that, Jo.
Yeah, for sure.
Show people how to do that.
Sure. All right. Did the second pass? Oh no, still dropping random stuff.
Even more random stuff.
So for this, the good part about this is if you don't want it to keep trying for you, especially when like seed dance generations are obviously very expensive. Right now it's like you should be able to chime in at any point to try to like, oh, maybe let's audit the prompt a little bit and see when like what went wrong.
Yeah,
that's one thing. One thing I wanted to mention when you were talking about being able to dive back in, look at the workflow. Every asset you make in Comfy pretty much contains the workflow. So you can, anything you have, you can drag back into Comfy and look at the workflow. So you don't necessarily have to always ask the agent to like make you a workflow. But on the flip side of that, you can also say, hey, check out the workflow that made this image. And can you like make a human readable version of this workflow with annotation and stuff like that? And the agent can usually actually show you then the workflow it gives you when you open it up in Comfy. It has notes and groups and explanations of what everything's doing. So it's a really great way to learn backwards, how it got to an example or how it took an approach to something.
Okay, yeah, a lot of these are funny.
I like that one.
Yeah. Let's see what the cat is doing.
Oh.
Cat was okay.
Cat's kind of over it.
No animal was hurt in this video.
No. It's a very accurate representation of how a cat would feel about being in this shoot.
Yeah. And I think it's gonna also try to stitch things together for me. Yeah. Not exactly what I wanted, but if I have like, if I do it myself, I will just chime in at the beginning, like when we did the first test of the video, and I'll fix the prompt. But right now, I'm just like letting it autopiloting. Yeah. So this is like this project, I think ends up having, I don't know how many assets. Maybe starting here, I guess like 100-ish. And it was done like just this morning, actually, like a couple hours back, started a couple hours back. Yeah. So with the help of the MCP, is like saving a lot of time of building all these, even those simple workflows. I kind of nowadays don't want to build myself, and save a lot of time building workflow and also the ideation and the planning and also the prompt itself. And then like I'm mostly doing the creative idea, reviewing assets, and also just give feedback. So it's this kind of project will usually take me, I think, like 2 to 3 days to just manually do everything. Yeah, it's definitely saving a lot of time. And I think the automation, scalability, and all these branches and variations are like what people generally want if you are actually doing production work, because everybody knows we have deadlines and we have sometimes like feedback from your client, from your boss, from your team members, and like anything that can kind of accelerate the pipeline for you is going to be helpful. Also like similar to the demo, the hype video we showed before, those are actually from the real prompts that we got when we talked to studios and users, and they also find that the automation aspect of generating with MCP. It's really helpful especially if they have like a long-term project. Imagine you will have to, kind of iterating with this setting and this character and this sort of design, like for multiple projects, probably a month, and having all those contacts in the agent will also be very, very helpful. And you can also like reuse the workflow, like everything here. I'll probably just tomorrow I'll probably just tell Claude that I want another version with just like a green color palette of everything, and then I'm pretty sure we can kind of rush it in like an hour or so.
It's great for those big sweeping changes. Someone asked, with MCP graphic variants, is it better to use separate workflows or one for the whole project? Like, do you try to make one big Frankenstein workflow, or do you let it orchestrate other ones? And I would just like to jump in on this one. The beauty of the agent is that it is orchestrating a bunch of workflows for you. So you actually don't have to make these giant Frankenstein workflows anymore that go from point A to point B that sort of handle every aspect of your creative struggle. You can actually use the MCP as a conduit to coordinate a bunch of workflows together to get you to, a place where you can have branching concepts. You can make decisions like Jo's doing here. She's like, use this image. This is the one I like, not these other 7. Ignore these other 7. That kind of interaction with Comfy always requires you to then zoom out and think, okay, what workflow do I need to go to take this asset I like and make it do the thing? And that switching from left to right brain is actually quite detrimental to the creative process. So yeah, just like as an orchestrator or as a layer to keep everything straight for you, it's unparalleled. It's really cool.
Yeah. And I think considering the nature of Comfy, it's like I always try to run the full graph. If you're very sensitive about your the cost of the workflows, I think it's better if you always start with one and kind of like really try to verify the first unit end to end and make sure it does the first one does what you want. For example, like a unit like this, it does what you want, and then ask Claude to kind of scale and duplicate everything for you. And if anything goes, and also it's like if something goes wrong, or not like goes wrong because there's randomness in the generations, if something you don't like in one of the 5, you can just go be like easily change that one specifically, or like just roll the dice even more. So I would personally go with separated workflows. And also before agent, I would do like multiple branches in one graph, just because it's easier, simply because it's easier for me to review the asset like side by side. But now I have Claude, like whatever way I want to view it, I can just ask it to pull it up end to end. I can also ask it to send it to Figma if I really want. So reviewing is not a bottleneck anymore. Okay, so yeah, I think this is the like a live creation from Claude today. It started with some asset we built halfway, and kind of vibed it end to end while we were talking. It's pretty close, and then I'm pretty sure with some iterations, it can do very great work to exactly represent what I want in the idea phase.
We had one more very important question. Are there any opportunities to work with Comfy.org, like positions in the organization or influencers or partnerships?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. That's a very good question. And we are definitely hiring, and we would like to please just go to our website and to go to the career page. And we also have other job positions listed on our, I think on X, our LinkedIn. So please feel free to apply anywhere. And we're expanding our team on every aspect, literally.
Right on. Well, thanks so much for joining us, everyone. This has been really cool. I'm really excited for the future of agentic and MCP creation, all this stuff that's opening up these days. And yeah, any closing comments? Anyone want to mention anything? Oh, yes, right. Yeah, there's a...
Actually, we really have like so many things incoming and so many surprise drops. So Yeah, maybe no one asked, but some of you might notice that like I still have to go back and forth from Claude to Comfy to kind of just if I really like audit the workflow a lot, and what if you don't have to? So we are also trying to build our own in-app agent to have the exact experience side by side with much better understanding of the graph itself and the workflow itself to work with you like really real time, just as like any of your like coworker or teammate. So we are opening up the closed alpha test to very small group of users to try out the experience. So this is like a surprise drop for everyone for staying with us in the stream today. And then we'd like to send you the waitlist for the real Comfy Agent product, and would like to know what you want to make with it, and would like to get feedback about it. And yeah, Matt and I and the other team members were working really hard towards that. And I personally think it is like a really game changer, or like just reshaped my own creative experience. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Jo. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Allison. Yeah, please join the Agent Alpha list if you want to play with Agent early. We would love your feedback. Another thing is that came up in the chat before I should go. Someone asked, how do they give feedback on MCP, Jo?
Yeah, we do have a MCP feedback survey. And if you're connected with the MCP, ask the agent, how do I give feedback? It will give you the URL. And also feel free to just drop any comments on our social channels or find us in Discord. We have MCP channel in the Discord specifically. We'll be there.
All right. And someone asked if will this video be available to watch again? They all are. Come back to the playlist for our live streams. You can watch any of these videos. Anything we've ever deep dived, anything we've ever talked about is all saved. So come back, hang out with us. We'll be back on Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.